What would you do if your mother expected you to be grateful for the men who paid to be around you? In my mother's world, her clients expected that paying for her time also bought them access to her daughter, and she taught me to smile and be polite because they were keeping food on our table. My mother started as a street worker when I was 3. By the time I turned 7, she'd moved up to being an escort, bringing men to our apartment instead of meeting them in cars. She'd tell me and my younger brother these men were friends helping our family, but even then, I knew friends didn't hand over cash before disappearing into her bedroom. My mother had this way of not seeing things. When clients stared at me too long or asked me to sit closer on the couch, she'd just pour another glass of wine and count the bills in her purse. She'd gotten her realtor's license 2 years ago, but kept it framed on the wall like a trophy while she continued bringing men home. Just until we're really stable, she'd say, though stable never seemed to come. The expectation started small. When clients arrived, I had to come out of my room and say hello. Then it became sitting with them while my mother got ready, which really meant she was in the bathroom trying to work up the nerve for another night. These men would pat the couch beside them, pull me onto their laps before I could resist, hand me little gifts like candy, cheap jewelry, sometimes money. My mother would emerge, see me squirming, and tell me to say thank you, baby. Don't be rude to someone who's helping us eat. If I tried to leave, she'd give me this look that meant I was being ungrateful, selfish, not thinking about how hard she worked for us. The men got bolder as I got older. They'd run their fingers through my hair, tell me I looked just like my mother, ask when I'd be ready to work too. Some would grip my wrist when I tried to pull away, their wedding rings pressing into my skin. My mother noticed only what she wanted to notice. When I'd show her the bruises on my arms, she'd say they were from playing too rough at school. When I told her one client tried to follow me to my room, she said I must have misunderstood, that Mr. David was just being friendly. My little brother was largely invisible to them, spending nights at friends' houses or locked in his room with headphones, but I looked like her. The same dark hair, same green eyes, and that made me valuable in ways that turned my stomach. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. Mr. Morrison, a regular who always smelled like cigarettes and mint, was waiting on our couch while my mother got ready. He pulled me close, his breath hot on my neck, and said, "Your mom tells me you're almost 13. That's old enough to start earning your own money. I could be your first client. Make it special." His hand was on my thigh, moving higher when my mother walked out. I waited for her to scream, to throw him out, to protect me. Instead, she paused and tilted her head like she was considering, and said, "Maybe in a few years, Morrison. She's still my baby. Not no, not never, just not yet." I told my teacher the next day. The words tumbled out during lunch while she was grading papers. She went very still, then walked me to the counselor's office. Within hours, there were police at our apartment, social workers asking questions, my mother crying and saying I was confused, that I'd misunderstood everything. They placed me with my aunt temporarily while they investigated. For 3 weeks, I slept in a bed without fear, ate breakfast without performing gratitude, existed without being merchandise. My mother's pushback was swift and brutal. She called crying, saying I was destroying our family, that my brother would end up in foster care because of my selfishness. She got my grandmother to call, my uncles, even family members I'd never met, all saying I was a liar looking for attention. Her lawyer argued there was no evidence of actual abuse, just a confused child making up stories. The social worker who'd seemed so sympathetic started suggesting maybe I'd misinterpreted things, that maybe I should go home and work things out as a family. My mother promised she'd stop working, swore on my dead father's memory, but I'd heard her on the phone with Morrison, telling him to be patient, that I'd come around once this drama passed. So I started recording her calls on an old iPod. The night she told her friend she just needed to handle Morrison's interest better, that maybe if she eased me into it, I wouldn't be so difficult. I had what I needed. The recording changed everything. The judge's face went pale listening to my mother discuss my price like I was a product. They terminated her rights that day. Now I live with a foster family 2 states away. My brother is somewhere in the system, but they won't tell me where. My mother still works, still posts on social media about her ungrateful daughter who ruined her life. She taught me that gratitude meant accepting whatever men wanted from me, but my ingratitude is what saved my life.